we have been incredible partners in changing the American reality. I hope that you can be that kind of partner too, and I hope that you and I can have a good heart-to-heart conversation, trusting that we both want the same end for all communities, safety and security, but a justice system that is fair to all American citizens.
I welcome that.
Thank you, sir.
Senator Black.
All right, we're going to take a 1-minute break. We'll be right back.
I'd like to take a moment to address my fellow veterans, because I know so many of you have served our country honorably. One of the benefits that we as a country give you as a veteran is the eligibility for a VA loan, up to 100% of your home's value. If you need cash for your family, call New Day USA. With automatic authority from the VA, we can say yes when banks say no. Give us a call.
Call now, 1-855-376-1361.
Shaq. Ring alarm is so simple and easy to use, I had my son Oliver install one.
Wow, Oliver, can you come install one in my house?
Sure, easy. You stick up the sensors, download the app, and boom, now you have home security. And the best part is it's only $10 a month, which you can afford with your allowance.
So if you can do it, I can do it. But I'll just let you do it.
Ring alarm. The easy to install, professionally monitored alarm, all for just $10 a month.
Not there.
Learn more at ring.com.
Returning now to the hearing, Senator Blackburn's turn to ask questions.
And give them, their marching orders and watch them perform and get involved to the extent I can to make sure that we're pushing the priorities things ahead. One of the interesting things about the Department of Justice, it's a little different than many agencies, is one of our first priority has to be to enforce all the law. It's not like we can just come into work and say, well, we're going to just pay attention to this, so we're not going to enforce all these other laws. We have to cover the waterfront. That's number one. But beyond that, what I tried to do last time and what I would try to do if you confirm me this time would be, to make sure that even though we're enforcing things across the board, we have a understood set of priorities and we put the effort behind those priorities. And we define clearly what we're trying to achieve. So, for example, in the area of civil rights, when I was Attorney General last time, and I had discussed this with Senator Kennedy, I said, we're not doing enough on housing discrimination. Housing is very important. It determines where you go to school and all other, the safety and so forth. And I set up a program, we hired testers and stuff like that, and we had a very clear goal and priority for that, and we launched it. And that's what I plan to bring in area after area, defining what we're trying to accomplish and give the people the tools to get it done and give them the direction and motivation to get it done.
You've mentioned the Mueller investigation, your relationship with Mr. Mueller, having him finish the investigation. If we were to ask him about you, do you think his assessment would be that you are a fair and impartial leader that he can trust, that we can trust to lead the DOJ?
I hope he would say that, but I'm not going to put words in his mouth.
Yeah, we talked about technology and my interest in that area, and you've had Mr. Lee and Mr. Hawley have also talked about antitrust and some of the enforcement there. Big tech and Silicon Valley and the power that is harbored there, they are gobbling up a lot of their competitors. You've got Facebook and Google that are claiming to only be platforms for their users, but they are also getting into the content business. And that is why Facebook bought Instagram and WhatsApp, and Google bought YouTube and DeepMind for AI technology. So their tentacles are spreading, and they are moving away from a platform into that content, into artificial intelligence. And their market dominance is causing some problems. And as we discuss, these companies are violating users' privacy. They are recklessly sharing their users' personal data with third parties. This is done without explicit permission. We can't let these companies collude to drive out competitors.
So while this hearing is underway on Capitol Hill, across the pond, the vote on Theresa May's Brexit plan rejected by UK's Parliament. Senior Foreign Affairs correspondent Greg Palcott is live in London with this breaking news to explain what this means. What should we watch for, Greg?
Dana, huge. It just came down a couple of minutes ago, actually faster than we thought. Theresa May, UK Prime Minister, and her deal to get Britain out of the European Union, that is Brexit, has failed and failed massively. Out of about 650 seats, that is the total of the members of Parliament in the House of Commons. 202 voted in favor of this deal. 432 voted against. That means a loss margin of 230. What does this mean? It's even bigger than Sky News, our sister network, and others had predicted. It means it's back to the drawing board a bit for Theresa May. She has said in comments that just happened after this vote that she will look for a cross-party, that is, between the Conservatives and the Labour members, also the Liberal Democrats, to come up with a deal that might go forward. But, Dana, we're on a really tight deadline. Less than 2 months to go before they have to decide on how they leave exit. And just to remind our viewers, they've been working on this thing for 2.5 years. Back in 2016, there was a referendum that narrowly voted, the British people narrowly voted in favor of leaving the European Union, 52% to 48%. But it's a tough task, as was proven, and they just haven't been able to come up with a plan that satisfies everybody. Even the anti-EU and the pro-EU folks on both sides have not been happy with this deal. So very quickly, what are we looking for now? We're looking for Theresa May to try to figure out what to do. The opposition members, Labour leader Jeremy Corbyn has got to be licking his chops right now, looking forward to what could be coming up next. He wants a general election. He wants May out and a whole new election. Other people want a new referendum on this choice. Now that they know, according to the people who want this referendum, all the details, they want the UK people to vote again on this, and that's got a lot of opposition going for it too. There are thoughts of another kind of deal and kind of a worst-case scenario, not just for the UK, but maybe for its important global trading partners and security partners, and that's number one, probably the United States, a no deal, a crash out on March 29th, and no one knows exactly what will happen. Certainly it'll have big impacts on the economy, maybe some impacts on security too. So now, into the darkness right now, breaking news in the last, about 15, 12 minutes or so, Dana, we are sorting it out here, but a big surprise, a big shocker, a historic defeat for UK Prime Minister Theresa May, and now we figure out again how this very important, maybe one of our most important security and economic partners goes forward with their history. Dana.
Greg, let me ask you, how quickly might you see something happen with the leadership of the UK? Is the next logical step a vote of no confidence for Theresa May, or was basically the Brexit vote, that was the vote of no confidence?
Well, that's a major vote of no confidence when you have that kind of a loss margin. Absolutely, Jeremy Corbyn, the leader of the opposition Labour Party, who has no love for Theresa May, is already organizing a vote of no confidence against her. The thing is, though, Dana, a lot of people don't like Jeremy Corbyn either, or they don't want Labour in charge. So even the Tory members, that is the Conservative members of Parliament who voted against this deal, and there were a lot of them, I don't have an exact number, but well over 100 members of her own party voted against it. They probably won't go for another general election, which could very well mean that the Labour Party would take control. So, in fact, there could be a vote of no confidence very soon. Would May survive that? Probably. But I got to tell you, Dana, I mean, people have said that any prime minister in the past who got walloped on her major policy issue. Remember, she's been working on this again for a very long time. The last couple of years, walloped in this way, well, she'd face an internal fight and have to step down. So there are questions about her future. But again, what she has said, what she has underscored is that there is this deadline, March 29, to get this all wrapped up. That's, again, about 2 years after they started work on this, more than 2.5 years since the referendum. So they're looking to that. The one other thing, there's always, as you know, and you know well, and so do our viewers, Dana, know politics well, you can always mess around with deadlines, and there is talk about extending that March
saw that
deadline
today,
into June or July to give the folks a breathing room. But right now, there are a lot of shocked people here in London, and again, very important for the U.S. President Trump has said he didn't like this deal, so he actually probably will be pleased. We might see a tweet soon saying that he would have voted the same way that, what's the number again? 432 members of Parliament went. He didn't think it broke the UK away from the EU enough. But a lot of experts in Washington also are sure that chaos in our key ally in the UK, not a good thing. Dana.
All right, Greg Palcott, we thank you for that.